Yes, my people. It's your boy Bejay. It's another episode of Blocks to Bags. Today, I have got a UK iconic producer and creator. To be honest, he's actually a multi-level storyteller, which I love. And he has been a friend and an industry contact for the last couple of years. I've seen him in loads of different hats. And I was just saying to him before we got recording that I've actually enjoyed listening to his beats as I work. So after this episode, please go on the link in the bio and support his work. More importantly, come to see the shows. Jammz, welcome.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Come on, man.
Pleasure to be here.
So did I get it right? How would you describe it? Is that multi-level storyteller?
Multi-platform. Like started with MCing. That was just like my primary way, and then it's digressed into loads of different avenues and formats.
And like MC culture has changed a lot in the UK. Yeah. You know, MC and people who rap put stuff on loads of different kind of genres now. I say that you're a genre specialist. You get the tempo, you get the rhythm, you can make stuff happen.
Yeah.
At what point did MCing and the creativity become a business for you?
Do you know what? From the point that I actually started to write, I probably started to write when I was about 12, so I was very young. When it actually became a business for me, so that was 2001, it probably started to generate income for me in about 2015. So it's 14 years of just experimenting and playing around and trying different things. And to be honest, that was never my primary aim to make it a business. My actual plan, so to speak, was to get a degree, be a graphic designer, work in advertising, marketing. But it kind of just so worked out that it came back over to the music side. Yeah.
No, I love that. And you've been involved in some really awesome stuff, awesome moments. I think back to the Swan Anderson, One Extra Maidaville session.
Yeah, that's a memory.
You, AJ,
Mike Ty, Mez
were just spazzing on music. You know, like there's moments you guys have been a part of, like, you know, boiler room sets that people are not going to forget.
Yeah, it's a blessing, man.
So in business, people look for ways to launch things. People always looking for ways to tell stories. What would you say have been like some moments of launches or moments of virality that have like really made you go, you know what, this is connecting?
Oh, there's been so much.
What comes to mind when I ask the question? Maybe give me 2 examples.
Nike, More Than London, our campaign, that was one that definitely connected. I'm always referencing that. Anything that Stormzy launches, you know, like I think the team he works with, I don't know if it's the same team every time, but it's always powerful, it's always impactful, it always connects, more so than the music, to be honest. And I think that's very important in terms of the message that needs to get out there.
And then how about for you in your career?
In my career? Oh, probably
moments that have made you go, you know what, I've got an audience here, let's double down.
All right, so the first time I kind of realised that I had an audience is funny. So like I fell into a routine of doing pirate radio regularly, like by mistake, like never intended to do it. And then it kind of blew up, but I didn't know it was blowing up because like the golden era of pirate radio, so to speak, had finished like 6-7 years before.
Yeah.
I was having my time on pirate radio and I think I was doing it for 2 or 3 years and it kind of turned into an addiction. And long story short, Logan Sama basically asked me to create a lineup for a boiler room that he was putting on the ICA. And within the first 5 minutes of this boiler room set, we start MCing. You can see it on camera. And I can hear everybody saying our lyrics back to us. And I'm looking around at my friends. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, this is crazy. Nobody listens to pirate radio. I don't understand how people know. So that was kind of the first inkling I had that, yeah, maybe I can take this a bit more seriously than it is in my own head. Do you get what I mean? We can try and have a go here. And then probably the second time that I done something that had a big impact was when I released my first it wasn't even my first EP. I released an EP called The Warrior EP, and my manager at the time, Tom Lee, he was like, we need to do something big, like let's get a billboard. So we paid for a billboard for, I think it was a week or 2 weeks, just by Bethnal Green Station.
Yeah,
and
that
done wonders, bro. Like the power of a billboard. And if you don't know about billboards and how billboards work, you would look at them and think that's actually a crazy thing in terms of like cost versus impact. Yeah, it was definitely impactful, man. The amount of eyes that saw the campaign, the amount of people that sent me video clips, the amount of people that came to the headline show just because of the billboard was crazy. And again, that goes back to like the studying that I put in my graphic design degree, learning about advertising, marketing, all of these things eventually came into play into my own career. So like nothing I've ever learned has been wasted. It all feeds back into what I'm trying to do.
Absolutely. Like people don't even know you're a wicked designer as well.
Yeah, I don't really put it out there like that, but I'm trying to now.
That's how I met you.
Yeah.
You were designing at the time, yeah.
Yeah, I remember because we done a hack day for, I think it was Converse, wasn't it? Yeah. Long time ago.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Lots happened since.
But yeah, a lot of people don't know that like a lot of my art, well, a majority of my artwork I've designed. Like the first thing that kind of got me noticed actually, before even the billboard, I put out an EP called Hit Then Run, and I designed the cover. And I think looking back now, the thing that kind of set me apart from a lot of people that were out at the time was that the fact like I knew how to make websites. So like I made a landing page and I made a MailChimp account. So when you put in your email, it just sent you the tune straight away. So it was free, but the exchange was I'm getting your email, I'm building a mailing list. So people just used to automatically see my like, he's signed, like he's got a team. It's like, no, bit of coding,
boom,
bit of Photoshop, boom, you're in. Do you get what I mean?
So that talks to a lot of the stuff that Nipsey, Hustle, Jay-Z, Dame, 50 Cent, and many others have kind of gone through, which is putting your street team together, putting the work in, and just getting to work, like learning on the job if you need to.
Yeah.
What's it like designing your own billboard and seeing it come to fruition?
Do you know what, man? It's looking back now, it was something I probably didn't stop at the time to say, actually, this is a big thing. But now it's a big thing because you're literally taking a vision that you have in your head and you're manifesting it into reality. That's literally what I do on a day-to-day. So it's a big thing. And I think if you have the ability to do that, that's a very, very, very good skill to have. And like you said, I think a majority of the things, if not all of the things I've learned, came from necessity. Like, I need to do this, but I don't have the resource to do this. So like, what workarounds can we find to get to the same destination? Like, what can you do with the resource you have to achieve the same thing or near enough the same thing? And then from doing that, you learn so many things. Like, not everything is about money. It's just what you know, who you know, and how you put all of these things together.
Yeah. No, that's a real gem. And right now, like, you're still building, bro. You're still doing cool things. You've got a tape out with some young people coming out. Is it coming out next couple of weeks? On the track?
Yeah, so that is not my tape. I'm executive producing it, but that's the group of young people that I'm working with.
That's the new level for you that I'm enjoying seeing from you. So there was Jammz, the creative designer, who was also MCing, doing Pirate. Jammz is exec producing now. Like, what are the other facets of getting to the bag in music? Because right now, for example, my sister, she's 24, her and her band, their indie band, they've been signed FK Twigs, they've done a mixtape, and they're often like going Pirate studio and recording, or they're going to other studios and recording, and it's just been a journey for them. Yeah. And we speak a lot about that long-term journey, that it's very easy to like just be lost in the crowd.
It's very easy.
And having to still do a retail job, or having to go and do like having to do a side hustle to fame the main hustle that you really want to do. So I'm quite keen to understand like the different revenue sources that one could generate from having the ability to tell and write lyrics, which can go into poetry, designing, producing. Like, how have you commercialized and made life as an independent artist, and what's it look like for you today?
Oh, bro, this is a long story because I feel like I've lived about 7 different lives, and like
we're here.
Everything I've done didn't make sense until recently. That's the maddest part. It didn't make sense. Like, I've worked in design agencies like as an intern, so I know how that side of things works. I think the first like entrepreneurial thing I did like fresh out of uni, me and a group of friends, we started a business called Trendset UK. I don't know if you remember it, which was like the first like big fashion page on Instagram, which was actually crazy for the time because Instagram was still new. And I wasn't doing music at that time, but that enabled me to meet so many people and build a strong network, like from helping independent brands sell their clothes to having a pop-up store in Box Park in 2013 to collaborating with brands like Rip the Runway, like doing things like that, to then working in a marketing team in finance. Like along the way, it doesn't make sense, but then I learned how to use cameras in that job. I was a junior web designer, so I learned more about how to build websites, how funnels work, all of these things. Like I've now taken back to put into my own formula. Do you get what I mean? So it's like you learn about different revenue streams from different things. And then, so from the trend set stuff, it's like, okay, like people like to buy clothes. So like merch is a revenue stream for music. All artists should have merch. I strongly believe like the deeper I get into my career, the more I believe independence is the way forward, because it's good to balance, because I say that collaboration is also very good to do because you can't do everything on your own, and that's a trap I've been in before. But the more you know is the less you have to depend on other people to do things for you. And sometimes when you depend on other people too much, when those people leave you, you're just dead in the water. So it's good that I've learned all of these things. So I've learned how to make and sell merch. We're just talking about Bandcamp. Bandcamp is something I recommend every artist should have. It's the most direct form of sales you can do in music. Like, and it helps you to build a mailing list, which is very important. I always refer back to this thing called like 1,000 fan theory, which is like if you have 1,000 true fans and it will spend £100 of you every year, like that's 100k. Like that's not a small salary, bro. Nope. Like, and I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do, but it's a good benchmark to have in your head to work towards. And selling music via Bandcamp, definitely, if you can sell music on Bandcamp, you can sell anything, bro. You can sell anything. You sell t-shirts, mugs. You just need to identify your narrative, who you are, identify who the people that mess with you are, and just see what it is they like and just feed it to them, bro. Mm-hmm. That's literally all it is. There's merch. Through being able to, so we're talking about being a multi-platform storyteller, right? So on different levels, it looks like level 1, MCing, telling the story of myself. Level 2, graphic design, telling stories visually for myself and other brands and individuals that used to come to me to do like freelance work. Another level, which I didn't even intend to get into, is like theatre. Yeah. So I was in a play called Poet in the Corner, which I didn't really want to be in at the beginning, to be real with you, because I was like, I'm a gram MC, like, what's theatre? But then I done it, and I realised it's a whole other echelon of telling stories. It's sick, it's live, it's immersive, it's direct. People's reactions are in your face. So now your storytelling ability has to change, because it's not a delayed reaction. When you make music, typically, it's on some kind of physical or digital format. You make it, you record it in the studio, the music gets sent to your distributor, people listen to it, and you don't get the reaction until a few weeks later. In theatre, it's live and direct. You're saying things and people are responding, and part of the art is that you have to respond back in a way. So then from there, I've now gone into script writing. So I wrote a play last year with a charity called The Big House. Nice. So it's, again, now I'm making money from writing plays, character development. That translates into, I'm now working on a podcast, soundtracking a podcast, storytelling through production now, like no lyrics. There's loads of different revenues, man. Like there's sync. If you make music and it gets used in an advert for a brand or a product, there's money that comes that way. There's royalties, PRS. These things, which to me are kind of like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be wrong, but to me it's just like another form of a pension, because like you have a catalogue of music that you build over time. Absolutely. And every quarter it pays. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? That's like income that you don't even have to think about. You just have to build the catalogue, and the more you make over time, it's compound interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's that. There's getting paid for live shows. There's brand partnerships. Sometimes you might do a show and a brand can say, okay, we need you to wear this, or we need you to post this amount of times for this event.
I've got a challenge for you, because those are all awesome gems that people can take. Myself and my entrepreneurship journey, I've had a lot of different revenue sources. You know, there's speaking, there's like selling the service of whatever work we're doing, whether it's food, marketing, music, management. And then right now I'm doing a lot of partnership work. in this industry you're in, which is creativity, there are two different like things that can help people blow up, like just as theories that I want us to explore. One is creating seminal work, like taking that time to make that piece of work that absolutely breaks records, absolutely gets people word of mouth buzzing. You know, we're talking a Titanic, we're talking A Boy in the Corner, we're talking a Get Rich Dad Trying, we're talking, you know, 48 Laws of Power, a Rich Dad Poor Dad, a seminal piece of work that gets people like absolutely obsessed. We're talking 1 million unit, 2 million units, 5 million views, 10 million views, something that it just like on the map. And then on the other side, there is and that can be a great way to get someone to change their life. And then there's the other approach, which is the obsession. You know, it's the work rate. It's the, I'm going to put out 50 mixtapes, or I'm going to put out a song every week, or I'm going to be on every podcast and every show and do every freestyle and move things until they can't not let me in. You know, examples of this for me is Munwa Chihuahua, who does Unknown P. It's like he was banging out them reels in the pandemic so hard that you now see him hosting the BAFTAs. You see him hosting the Brits, you know. You then have Central C. Like people are, where do you come from? You can go on Google.
The history's there.
You can see it. You know, you can see it. Stormzy.
History's there.
Who was on SPTV back in 2011. He's still here now. You know, that work rate. So there's these two different camps, right? Like he created seminal work finally in 2017, Gang Signs and Prayer, but that was a lot of work to get to that point. You know, shut up for just a moment. But where do you sit on this, on that scale? And
so my response to that would be is you can't have seminal work without consistency. You don't just get up one day and make seminal work. Not to say it doesn't happen, it does happen, but it's very rare, and you need to be ready for the opportunity. That's why consistency is so important. You need to be in places, you need to be making work every day, because as you're making work, you're developing and growing as an artist to get to a point where you can make something that's seminal. Like,
so you're leaning towards consistency,
yeah,
hard work, graft.
Definitely. You learn much more that way. I think seminal work is good, but let's be honest, not all of us are going to make a seminal piece of work the first time around, or the second time, or the third time around. Like, it takes training, consistency. Like, I was reading the story of Van Gogh not too long ago, and the amount of work that he done, the point that he was at in his life before he made work that is considered seminal today, is crazy. And this is the thing, there's a saying, it takes 10 years to make an overnight success, right? If you look at, I don't know, who's a good example? Let's take Nipsey. Nipsey was prolific for most of his career in terms of releasing, but I don't think people caught on to him until it definitely wasn't at the beginning of his career. Like, it was a journey to get there. And this is something I'm always preaching to people. Like, it's a marathon, it's not a race. Like, you got to take your time, be consistent, show up every day. Success is about creating your own luck. You have to create your own luck, and you can't create your own luck if you don't show up.
Yeah, because luck is opportunity
meets preparation. Exactly.
So yeah, if you want to be successful, have some luck. If you want some luck, put the work in. No, I love that. Would you consider yourself a businessman at this point?
Do you know what? Not really in the traditional sense, but someone called me an entrepreneur the other day, and I was like, am I really? Okay, maybe I am.
Because I sit here and I'm like, I really believe entrepreneurs need to be more creators. Like, you've known me, I've been an entrepreneur from day dot, but I'm also a creator, and I'm telling more of my story now. I'm like, I can see the actual impact of when I show up and I put stuff out, and the inbound that comes in.
Yeah.
When people are just watching stuff from me on YouTube or LinkedIn or Instagram. And then the other side is creators are becoming more entrepreneurial. Like, not everyone has the ability to wait for a publisher or a distributor or someone to sign you and find you at this live gig. Like, people are like, you know what, I'm going to set up the Bandcamp. I'm going to do Bandcamp Day. I'm going to go and sign up for that unsigned thing. I'm going to do a documentary around that thing. I'm going to put stuff out. So if we're saying that not all creators should be entrepreneurs, but need to be more entrepreneurial, as you like Inkling, you just said, no, someone called you entrepreneur of the day. What are some things that you think the creators who are getting their business act together need to be thinking about? Maybe these are things that you've learned now that you wish you knew before.
Get your finances in order, speak to an accountant, know how tax works, learn about profit and loss, learn about cash flowing. Just learn about money, man. Learn about money, how money works, how you can use money to advantage. Learn about leverage as well. It's because it's not always about money. Especially when you don't have money, like learn about how to use what you have to leverage yourself into conversations where you can potentially walk out with money.
Like creating a catalogue of beats, and then taking it to not a label, but to an advertising agency and saying, hey, do you guys want to have access to this at this discounted price over 6 months?
Yeah, and just learn how to be useful. I think a lot of...
like that one.
Learn how to be useful, man, because sometimes you don't always have resource. Like I said, you don't have money, but that doesn't mean that all the value that can provide is monetary. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're able to help someone to get to somewhere where they couldn't get otherwise without you, or if you could help get them into a conversation that they otherwise couldn't get into, that's a valuable thing. Like network is a very valuable thing. Connecting people, very, very valuable thing. Sometimes even introducing two people who are able to do business, even if you're not involved in the transaction, does a lot for your reputation and the trust that you have with other people.
Absolutely. I need to introduce you to the Blocks of Bag network. We've got a little group chat, people from Apple, government, entrepreneurs, creators, investors. And I basically bring 20 new people every month.
Okay, sick.
So I've got 300 now. It's been a year. So I've just been some months which added a bit more. But the vibe has been like, every time people come, they just say what they do. And then there's like an Excel document we're keeping with who everyone is. And then we're now going to start doing dinners. And I'm like, people are walking around saying, you know what? I don't know how to describe what Bejay does, but it's super connecting. I'm like, I like that. That's something I'm going to double down on. I agree with you. I think if you're a creator right now and you want to like take your business in a different level in 2024, you should be thinking about the people that have paid you over the years, all the different skills you've been paid to do, mapping them both side by side, seeing what similarities you have, seeing what opportunities come out, and then starting to think about, right, what are my points of difference that I can do at a great time speed that provides value to the market. Because you might find Sainsbury paid me to do real, like being a retail assistant, and Argos asked me to do video editing because obviously I did it 2 different times, pre-uni, after uni. Let me take my video editing services back to Sainsbury's. You know, let me go meet my old manager who's now running this shop somewhere else and do that stuff there. So having a review of your audience often is quite a good way to find new ways to generate revenue, in my opinion. And then number 2, I love that point, you know, how to be useful. Finding ways to be useful, and being useful can just be making quality introductions to people. It could be showing up when someone's launching something, and then they've got another job. They're like, "Oh, we need you. What? Like, I need to pay you this time because you've just showed up." You know, I've been brought into money opportunities just because I showed up. Yeah,
literally, you got to be present. Like I said, preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
That's literally it. And it's funny that you said that. I started listening to this podcast not too long ago. Big up Elijah because he put me onto this, and Despa from B83 as well. Naval Ravikant.
Yeah.
And
Naval.
I think the podcast is called like How to Get Rich. And there's a point that he makes in there about your unique skill set, like all of the skills that you put together that makes your unique skill set. Like that's very important. Knowing, so when you talk about going back and identifying all your skills, that goes together to make who you are, because that's a unique set of skills that you have that nobody else is able to do. So you just need to identify what that is.
Yeah, for sure. I always believe in the show in, you know, finding ways to add value to each other. What challenge or dilemma do you have at the moment that I can answer or the community can answer? And that doesn't be a big dilemma. It could just be something around marketing or something that you're about to drop next year. Anything. We're going to take the table back to for you.
Oh, okay. I don't even know if I should talk about this on camera, but we can do it. Maybe we can edit bits. But okay, so I have this program that I'm running, right? And right now it relies on a funding based model. So for somebody who runs creative programs on a funding based model, who doesn't want to rely on a funding based model, who's actually thinking about, okay, like I'm trying to help young people get into maybe internships or work. How do you turn that into a viable business model that generates profit for it to become self-sustainable?
Absolutely. So we're talking about diversifying revenue, we're talking about impact, and we're talking about sustainability.
Exactly.
So for me, this is a great question. Something I've got some knowledge on. I'm thinking about it a lot at the moment in the charity I run, because there are some stuff that are very donor heavy funded and some that are corporate funded. I think we need to look at bringing in corporate partners, or high net worth individuals. So it's very important to kind of break down the impact you're having on the group of people that you're currently being funded to do donations for. So where they were before they came to you and where they are after. And if you can have a video evidence of that, that's even better, but photo is enough. That needs to be packaged into some sort of 5 to 10 page deck with the story, the what we do, the how we do it, who we work with, our point of difference, and what we could do with 5x revenue in simple English. And then after what we could do 5x revenue is what the roadmap would be and the team that will put this out. And then you say, ask her for any questions. Once you have that pack, I'll then say, let's look at doing a taster day or some sort of community event where you go through the list of everyone who's ever paid you because you've got a relationship, your circle of influence. These are people you can pick up the phone to or DM and they'll respond to you. And you host a moment where they come and see the work. You know, have some drinks at the back, some food, DJ, and you have a moment. You celebrate the work, give a little speech, or get the people who have been impacted by the work to give a speech. And you use that as a moment for money to be generated, but you pre-worked an opportunity people before. So you engage with the people before saying, hey, I'm launching this thing. Like, so you've done the thing already, but you're like, actually, we're launching 2.0, or we're scaling this. I want to invite you, a personal invite to how I'm going to impact X thousand young people or X hundreds young people across these demographics. Private invitation. Only after the private invitation's gone out to, 100 or 200 people or 50 people, then you do a public announcement. Hey, I'm doing this thing. If you want to come, you can come. But those people that have been privately invited, you don't want them to be communicated after it's gone out in public. You want them to feel like, oh, this is private. Because then they might not have got back to you in time, but then they've seen you talking about this thing. So it's like a second point of reference.
Yeah.
Without you having to chase an email again.
They'll go back and circle back.
So now you've got a warm-up lead where you've got, 150 people that have been invited, of which you think 75 to 100 are going to turn up, and you've got your request. So if you need 50K, you want to have a 5K offer and get 10 people to put 5K, knowing that there's potentially 50 people here who could fund that. So you're looking at it from a margins perspective. I think that's like a very sustainable way to kind of diversify revenue right now in 2023, 2024, without having to apply for a grant and wait for grant and wait for feedback. Because actually the grant will actually be extradited and made faster if they see more momentum. So I would have a corporate donor pack, multi-year, 2 years. Maybe look at subscriptions from those students you are helping who are maybe a bit more well off, or alumni to come back and like pay it forward. So have a pay it forward button, and talk to them about the power of paying it forward. And then the third thing is looking at maybe making like a scholarship or an ambassador program where those in the industry who smashed it, who are keen and supporting you in different ways, and obviously they would love to manage you or support you, but they don't really find a way. You can go, you know what, I've got this thing I'm doing that I'm going to be doing for the next 3 years. If you want to support, this is the scholarship fee that enables you to, like this fee enables one person to go through it, but this fee enables 10 people to go through it. So I'd run that play, document it all, see what you raise, and then you put out a crowdfunding campaign, and people you can even add even more money. And the whole time you're doing that, you invite the people that currently have funded you to that experience thing, because they might all of a sudden find pockets of money that didn't exist. Yeah.
Wicked. Thank you. Big up.
That's the vibe. For me, question I'd ask you is, right now there are a lot of artists who are wanting to break the internet, wanting to make it on these big platforms and channels. What is your advice for someone who is trying to launch a creative product, namely music here or in art, in end of 2023 with no budget? Like, what are like a couple of things just from this conversation we had, but a couple of things a young artist or a manager of a upcoming creative artist can do to move things forward?
Oh, there's so many different things you could do.
And have an impactful launch. So just make it work.
Work with what you have. Literally write a list of all the resource that you have available to you. So when you see it on paper, it's very impactful. It puts things into a clear picture for you. What I like to do is I like to reverse engineer things. Think about what you want the final end result to be and write what you need to do at each previous stage. Like literally work your way backwards. So you're writing out a step, like a 10-step or 20-step plan. Like have a plan. Plans don't always go to plan, but it's good to have a roadmap so you know, cool, I'm going in the right direction. If you're going to launch something on social media, do your research. If you have even 10 people that are interested in you, speak to those 10 people, like communicate with them, write a list of questions, do a survey. Like I've just recently got into research, how to do like research properly. Like there's no other far way to find the answers that you want than speaking to people, asking them a set of questions. Compare the answers you get, like patterns will become clearer to you. Mm-hmm. Things that aren't so obvious will become obvious to you. Those answers are going to push you forward in a positive direction. When it comes to social media, make sure you're consistent, make sure there's a pattern to things, make sure that people know to expect to post at a certain time of the day. And yeah, if you've got, I don't know, if you've got a small budget, it doesn't have to be a lot, it doesn't even have to be 100 quid, like get something that looks nice. Like these small things make a difference, like nice fonts, nice backgrounds, nice colors. Like think about all of these things communicate on a subconscious level to people. Like it says this is quality or this isn't quality. Don't just, make things. You make one flyer that looks like this, you make another flyer that looks completely different. There's no visual language. Visual language is very important. What doesn't get said is more important than what does get said, literally. And yeah, make sure you're always collecting some kind of data, man. Whether that's emails, whether you're collecting user handles, just so you have a record and a way to communicate with people, and always be in communication with people. If someone messages you on Instagram, don't let it sit in the requests. That's someone trying to reach out and build a connection. Every connection is valuable, whether it's here, whether it's across the world. Never doubt the connection that you can build with someone.
You don't just have to follow everyone, but just respond to them.
You don't have to follow, but respond. Let them know that they've been seen, because then it makes people more likely to want to communicate with you more. Yeah. And in 10 years, that could be, I don't know, that relationship develops into something else. Do you get what I mean? So those would be my tips. And yeah, man, just post. Don't be afraid to post. A lot of people hold back on social media. Post. Make it look like it's the biggest thing ever.
Come on.
You have to get over yourself, me included. Like,
so when this episode come out, we're gonna make this the biggest thing ever.
Exactly.
We're gonna talk about independent music and making it after 10 years for real.
For real. But yeah, just post like it's the biggest thing you've ever posted. People will catch on. People will be enthusiastic with you, but they're not going to be enthusiastic if you're not enthusiastic. The energy that you give out is the energy that you're going to receive. So yeah, that would be my advice.
That's even inspired me to want to even look into how to find enthusiasm. Like that's a post idea right there.
Yeah, that is a very deep post.
It creates a conversation with people, and then you start being enthusiastic all week. And then do like a finding people to celebrate and talk about. There's loads of fun ways you can create patterns for yourself. Yeah, I love that.
There are, and yeah, just show up, man. Just show up. I think in this era, it's out of sight, out of mind. So another point I would make is don't be too precious about the content that you're putting out, because remember, you're building something, and you just have to look at things as you're versioning things in real time. Yeah. So don't be apprehensive if you don't feel like it's the final product. Remember, people want to see a story, they want to see development, they want to see growth. So even if your first version of this product isn't what you saw in your mind, the 10th or the 50th or the 100th might be, and people like to see that journey, because more often than not, when you get to that point, people can say, oh, actually, I was there when he done this and I followed his journey all the way through. So yeah, that would be my advice.
I love that, man. How can people support you? What you got coming out that people should tap into?
So at the moment, I'm working on music to drop. Music was never going to stop dropping, but if you want to support me, head to the Bandcamp, iamgraham.bandcamp.com. Don't just support me, support the other artists I work with. Gesha, Jack Dat, Tia Talks, Jammz, Jammz on Spotify, iTunes. Also support the charities I work with as well. The Big House, they work with young care leavers to put on theatre productions and support them in their careers and their life. And yeah, Run the Track, a project I'm working on. I'm working with 20 young people to make a collaborative album. I've partnered with Earth, which is a venue in Hackney. There will be a show in December. Come to the show and support their album when it comes out, man.
My brother.
Thank you, bro.
Blessing. That was good.
Respect.
Come on, man.